so much, Leslie. That's so lovely. What a beautiful introduction. Oh. And hello, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good morning. I'm on a little screen because I had to do a little bit of a tech compromise today. So I can't see all of your faces because I'm going to be using this iPad for some magic in a little bit. So yeah, I'll just have to do a scroll every now and then to make sure I get to see everybody. It's so nice to see you. So yeah, I'm here to talk about creativity. When I was looking at the list of options, I was like, okay, what's calling out to me? And then that just really stuck out. And I guess it was really interesting then for the next couple of days, creativity was something that just was in my consciousness. I was going about doing my regular thing and then finding, wow, this is so relevant to where I'm at right now. And I want to talk a little bit about that because I think that actually being able to be in a creative space takes a special kind of breeding ground. It's not something that we can necessarily always tap into at the click of a finger. But it is definitely something that I think we get better at as we practice, like anything, and as we engage with it. And for anybody that's feeling a little bit creatively stunted at the moment or a little bit creatively held back, then I hope that my talk today will help you break down the process a little bit and see how you can step into that flow and, lead a more creative life. So I've broken creativity into 7 parts, and I'm going to talk a little bit on each part. I also do a little bit of work in Eft Healing, so emotional freedom technique. And so I'm taking a little bit of a healing component of that today, and I'm going to share that with you as well, because one of the steps of the creative process is actually the first step, I would say, which is the step of overcoming fear. And so we're going to do a little bit of work together on that if you wish to participate, and hopefully that will help you move through the fear space and get to step 2, which is what I call the safe space. So I've got 7 parts. I'm going to let you know what they are. Number 1, fear. Number 2, safety. 3, boredom. 4, permission. 5, curiosity. 6, play. And 7, sharing, which is my favorite. And it's always a part of the creative process where by the time we get to the sharing space, it's like we forgot that we were ever going to do that, but it's just magic. And I'm sure that everybody listening has had that experience and knows just how good that feels. So now that I've given you a bit of an overview of the process and how I see the process, let's go back to the beginning. So to start out with, we have fear. And what I recognize about the creative process is with every new creative venture or creative space that I'm inhabiting, I usually begin that process in a state of fear. And why that's really important to acknowledge is because if we don't acknowledge it, fear can be something that we just run away from. And then we don't actually get to embark on that beautiful process. And so by acknowledging that that's the first thing that's probably going to come to the forefront when you want to be creative, you can look it straight in the eye and go, I'm going to conquer you, and we are getting to stage 2. The way that we're going to get to that is to get through the fear. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to connect with something called the 3 minds, which is the gut, the heart, and the mind. And we're going to see what we need to hear. We're going to listen in to ourselves and listen and hear, okay, what do I need to hear right now? What does my gut need to hear right now? What does my heart need to hear? And what does my mind need to hear? So what I'd like us all to do, if you feel comfortable, is pop your hands on your belly. And we're just going to close our eyes and listen in. And this is a little bit woo-woo probably for some, and that's okay. We'll just go with it and see what benefits you feel. So hands on the belly, we're closing our eyes, and we're just listening in to our gut and our belly, what that part of ourselves is telling us that it needs. So take a moment and a few deep breaths. What does your gut need to hear right now? And when you've decided what you need to tell it, I think everyone's on mute, so this should be fine. I just want you to say what you need to hear, say what your gut needs to hear. And I'm going to get you to repeat it 3 times and really take it in. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Beautiful. And there's no right or wrong. It's about reassuring yourself so that you can move through the fear space. And hands on the heart, closing the eyes. What does your heart need to hear today to feel safe? Take some time listening in. And saying it out loud 3 times, taking it in. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. And moving to the mind. I like to pop my hands on my head. It's like the hokey pokey. And closing your eyes. And listening in. And this should be really easy, this one, because our brains tend to be quite noisy. What does the mind need to hear today? And telling yourself 3 times whatever the mind needs to hear. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Awesome. Beautiful. Now that we've reassured ourselves, hopefully what we're left in is a beautiful, safe space within ourselves. From that safe space, we can sit here for a while, and it'll probably turn into boredom. And that's when we go, is that it? Is that the end of my process? Is this creativity? And it's not quite, because we need to sit in the boredom for a little while until we get to a place where we then ask, is it okay? Is it okay for me to just take this time and space to be? And the answer is yes. Yes. Permission. And then from that place of permission, that's when our natural curiosity switches on. And that's the curiosity that little kids have, babies. They don't have to think about jobs and responsibilities. They just kind of wander about the world, smelling things and touching things and wondering what's behind that other thing over in the room and following their nose. And from that curiosity, as adults, that might be, maybe I should look through that craft drawer, or maybe I should get out that camera, or, I haven't picked up the guitar in so long, I want to do that. And it's following that curiosity that then leads us into play. And this is a beautiful state. Now we're fully engaged with our inner child for play. Now, in the play space, sometimes the thinking, the rational, analytical mind likes to switch on in this space, starts to want to drive us a little bit. And something that I'm really firm on and firmly believe is the idea that play is for play. Play is not for perfection. When you're in the space of play, you just need to allow yourself, we need to allow ourselves to enjoy the process and not judge ourselves in the process, but enjoy the act of play. And it's when we really enjoy the action of play that magic starts to happen. And before you know it, you've created something and you just have to share it. And that's where we're at. We're at sharing. And you get to think about who around me is going to enjoy this too. Who can I share this with that might get a little sparkle inside of themselves and want to do something a little bit similar or find their own way of engaging with creativity. So that's my 7 steps of creativity, the 7-part process of creativity. And I think, with this process, this is something that you might move through every day or every week or every month. And, usually with every different project, there will be fear. It will start out with fear. And that's really the excitement and anticipation of what's going to come. So always moving through that fear is my biggest emphasis in my own life. When I feel fear, I have to move through it. I have to move to that safety on the other side because there's something within me that really needs to be expressed. And more than anything, creativity is about living in a beautiful state of being. We might make beautiful things in that space, but we do it just to be in that space, just to get lost in that space where time stands still, nothing matters, and we're just in beautiful flow. I'm going to share something a little bit fun with you. Hopefully this works. Because I'm a bit of a musician, and I discovered a really cool app recently that really engaged my sense of play. And it's called Loopy HD. And on Loopy, I can loop a bunch.
Got a bit quiet.
Oh, I'm quiet? How will I do that? I'll just speak up. Is that all right?
Has something happened to your sound? Oh, I think she's...
Yes. Yes, something did happen to my sound.
You have about 2 minutes left.
My Bluetooth of my phone was on, so technology isn't my strongest suit. My apologies. So thank you so much, Leslie, for picking up on that. Oh dear. Okay, beautiful. So thank you. It wouldn't be right without a bump along the way, would it? It just wouldn't be right.
Dorothy,
so
you have about a minute
really
left.
Is my sound okay?
Yeah,
Am I back?
about 1 minute left.
1 minute?
Just about.
Okay, beautiful. I'm going to show you this quick session and then I'll disappear. All right, this is something that I put together the other night when I was just having a play. Whoop. What are you doing to me, technology? Bluetooth on. There we go. All right. So with Loopy, you can loop. It's an app you can use on your iPad. I'm going to be on Echo now, apparently. So with Loopy, it's an app on the iPad, and you can loop a bunch of musical tracks on top of it and then zoom in and out, bring the sound up and down and play around with it. I made something cool. Have a listen. The jailhouse down into the jailhouse. Body's so jaded. There we go. There's my lead line. I used to be out of the jailhouse down into the jailhouse. Body's so jaded. And hell is not you. When I was a young girl, I used to seek pleasure. When I was a young girl, I used to be out of the jailhouse, down into the jailhouse. My body's defeated, and hell is my due. Yeah. Some technological problems there. Sorry about that, folks, but good morning. I hope you enjoyed my talk. If you want to see some of the stuff I'm up to, check out my website. It's dorothymay.online. Thank you for your time.